It's so important that we really, really accept the things that we cannot change and then just move forward. And at that point, I couldn't change the things that had happened to me. Yes, I was so angry at the person that had hit me. But I had to accept it. And life will just happen to you and sometimes we just can't foresee what's going to happen to us in every single day.
Welcome to the Kindness Factor podcast, sharing life-changing personal stories of the transformational impact of deep kindness. Hosted by
Dr. Elia, the happiness doctor,
and Randy McNeely, the kindness giver. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to another episode of the Kindness Factor podcast. I'm Randy McNeely, known as the kindness giver, joined by my wonderful co-host, Dr. Elia Gourgouris, the happiness doctor. And we are thrilled today to be able to have in the house with us a wonderful lady named Naomi Riley. And my good doctor, the good doctor, I should say, he is my good doctor friend, Dr. Elia is going to introduce Naomi for us.
First of all, Naomi, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you on our show. And let me share some
Thank you.
thoughts about this amazing lady. All right. Naomi Riley is a business consultant and motivational speaker recognized for revolutionizing the way organizations grow by incorporating AI into their existing business models. As the founder of Virtue Ventures Consulting, Naomi is the mastermind behind Finay. Is that how you pronounce it?
Finay. Yeah.
Okay. AI program. She's also the creator of Tech's Pledge, a nonprofit committed to enhancing education, as demonstrated by her introduction of 35 activity books designed for K through 12 students, which I have seen, by the way, and they're phenomenal. I mean, every student in the United States should be reading them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're amazing. You've done a great job, Naomi. Like your whole group, your team, really amazing.
Thank you so much.
Blessing a lot of young people's lives. Naomi is a graduate of Billie Jean's AI Genius program and was mentored by Chris Winfield, who's the preeminent AI expert in the United States, actually. She's equipped hundreds of business owners with cutting-edge useful tech strategies during the 2021 pandemic and now shares AI solutions on how they can monetize off the latest advancements. But more importantly, Naomi is a miracle. The fact that she's here with us, I mean, that's the biggest story. That's what I want to talk about. It's a miracle.
Yes.
You had an experience that a lot of people don't survive.
Right.
And if you could share a little bit of that with us and with our audience, and really also as it relates to kindness,
Yes.
how were you assisted and helped with during that very, very difficult part of your life that has bring you here? So
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. First of all, this is such a blessing to be part of your podcast. I appreciate it very much. And just for the listeners, so just so you have an idea of my background, when I was a child, I was diagnosed with a bad illness called JRA. And so at an early age, my parents were told that I would be kind of disabled and I wouldn't be able to walk. And there was a lot of, hard times when I was growing up. So it was kind of considered a disabled student. I would have to go through lots of therapy and regimens, trial and error type of procedures. So it was called juvenile rheumatoid arthritis when I was growing. But here's the thing: is that when a child is growing up with arthritis, it really affects the joints and the bone growth. And so I have a few deformities that I still live with today. So I've had traumatic events that have happened all throughout my life, and I'm not looking for pity or anything like that. It's I value every single day now as such a gift, and I actually am so grateful for everyone that I meet and come into contact with. God shows us that it's either a lesson to be learned or we are a blessing to others. And the kindness part of my journey. There are so many people that have came into my life that have really blessed me, and I really, really, have just high accolades for the health workers and the teachers that, and the amazing people that just step in and say, here, I'm here to help you. And I know a lot of the times that's their job. They're a teacher, they're a nurse, they're someone that is just there and is in your corner. But I've had all of these amazing people along my journey and my way. So in 2017, though, let me fast forward. I was in a horrific car accident where I had a brain injury and other injuries that would start and be permanent with me from that accident. Now, I was hit by a distracted driver who did not see my truck, and I'm very lucky that I'm still here and alive, because brain injuries, a lot of the times people do not survive them. And what happened was I was just traveling down the road and someone turned right in front of me. They didn't see my big SUV. And so, I talk about how I was so upset. And so, I was in that crisis state. My brain had gone into the crisis state. And I really didn't know what was happening at that point. I just remember firefighters getting me out and, saying that I was going to be okay. And the next thing I know, I was in the hospital, looking up at the ceiling going, I don't want to be here. I was so frustrated. And I think that there was a point of me that was saying I didn't want to be here because I knew back from my childhood what it was like to struggle and what it was like to get back to where I needed to be again. And I didn't want to do that to my family, right? But, hindsight 2020, right? So I am a firm believer in our God and in faith. And I kept praying, God, if there is a reason that you want me here, then please show me what I'm supposed to do. And I kept leaning into that, leaning into my faith, and the pastors and, the pastors' wives and everyone and family and friends would come and assist me and help get me through my days. It took me 9 months to really get back to who I was back before my accident. So 9 months was where I kind of got back to the point where I can walk again right, I can talk again right, I can get my sentences again right. However, during that time, my neural pathways had to be redeveloped. So when I was out of my brain injury, I could not talk right, I could not balance right, I could not walk right. There were so many things.
And
So
you would
during
never know it. Like when we see you, when I listen to you and I see your beautiful bright smile and your intellect, how successful you are as a businesswoman and as an entrepreneur, like from the outside, you would never know that you had a traumatic brain injury. And
yeah.
I've met you in real life. I mean, you're just as normal as any, and as a matter of fact, wiser than most, I think, as a result of that. So I'm kind of curious, what happened during those 9 months? Like,
Yeah.
how do people,
It's,
and
it's,
maybe somebody who really stands out that really helped you in such a way that you're like, man, I need to pass this
Go
forward.
back.
it's someone who stands out as a kindness hero for you, who during that
Yeah.
time stepped into the shoes of kindness hero and was willing to help you and do what they could to lift you during that time.
Yeah. So my neurologist back during that time, Mary Free Bed Hospital here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a very, very well-known rehab hospital, and they do amazing work with their patients. So every day I would go and meet with cognitive, and then I would meet with, just the other therapists to get through the day. And I would have to, they would tell me a story and I would have to, remember certain parts of that story. I would have to, think back to who was doing what during that time. And so my brain would either stay into listening and not, moving forward, or it would remember something minor and it could move forward just a little bit more. And so the way that they help develop the new neural pathways takes a while, and everyone's case is different. But the way that it is done is truly amazing. So it's not just remembering stories. It's, they take you back to, putting things together and putting different scenarios together. And so I remember, oh man, there were so many times, that I did not want to go. I was so like, no, I don't want to go. It just, it's like having to go for an operation or just something that you just don't want to go through. I was so stubborn. My parents would be like, you have to go. I'm like, I don't want to go. And my kids would be like, Mom, you have to go.
What kept
But
you going
anyways,
though? Yeah, I'm curious as to what kept you
yeah.
going for those 9 months? Because 9 months, I mean, when you
Oh,
look back, that's a very long time. I mean, we're talking about like
yeah.
270 days just going
Yeah.
from, just to get back to normal,
Yeah.
get back to
Yeah.
thinking clearly and being able to walk and being able to talk and remember
Yes.
stuff. How did you
Yeah.
keep going?
A lot of faith in God and a lot of faith in family and my kids, and knowing that I was going to overcome, right? I didn't give myself a choice after some time. And I apologize for that. So I just really, honed in on, no, I'm going to overcome this. At the first part, I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. It's too much. I'm okay. You're not okay. You're not okay. I'll live with the tremors. I'll live with this. I'll live with that. No, you're not okay. Let's get you back. And, so I look at all of the therapists at Mary Free Red as being so kind to me and so helpful. It turned out that one of my therapists was my first boyfriend's mother. Isn't that funny?
That is,
So my first boyfriend in high school, his mother, who we dated for like 2 years, and his mother ended up being my therapist. So if there was, one lady that was just right in my corner, I think I would be like, yeah, she's the one. Linda Belding, at that time. So yeah, so just, these therapists and everything, they were just like, come on, Naomi, you got this. They would ask me a question and I would have to answer it. And sometimes I would sit there for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so just before I would even answer a question. So, I mean, it took quite some time for me to get to where I needed to be. Now,
it's hard to believe because you're like so normal, like everything, I mean, I've spent time with you physically. We've gotten to know you, and you just emanate joy. You have this beautiful, bright smile. You're so overwhelmingly positive. And, Randy, I can share with you with Naomi. She's like, what can I do to help? Like, she's always helping everybody.
Mhm.
And did that recovery and that prompt you to go into to do the nonprofit for the kids? I mean, what prompted you to? I know you're a very successful businesswoman, but talk about the
Yeah.
nonprofit. Why is that such a passion project for you? And I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Before we
So
go there,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
before we go there, I want to bring up a thought. It's obvious that you're very passionate about giving and caring about people. How was it? Was it easy to accept people's help during the time when you were recovering, or was it a challenge?
No.
And if it was a challenge, how did you overcome the resistance to allowing others to help? What did you do to be able to accept the kindness that people wanted to give you? Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. We sincerely appreciate you. My friends, I firmly believe that every one of us has an inner kindness hero that is just waiting to be released every day. I'd like to give you a pathway for releasing yours. How? By helping us to flood the earth with as much kindness as possible, to create a global kindemic that spreads love, hope, and happiness. Like and subscribe to each of our social media channels listed in the description, and take out a subscription through Buzzsprout for as little as $10 per month. You can help us to continue to spread the kindemic by bringing you great content here and taking our transformative kindness message to a much broader global audience through the Kindness Factor Human Interest series. Release your inner kindness hero today. Thank you for your support.
Right. Thank you for asking that. That's such a really good question, because a lot of us don't want to accept help. Sometimes we can be so stubborn and just, oh no, I got this, right? I kept relying on that verse. I'm not sure where it is in, but accept the things that we cannot change. I kept relying on that because, in every single part of our lives, we will have to accept help, and we will have to accept that we all are a unit. We all should be working together for the greater good. And but yes, it was very, very difficult in the beginning to accept the help. I love to just get things done and be organized and things like that, but during that time I could not. And I just didn't, for me, when I was looking up at that hospital room ceiling saying I don't want to be here anymore, it was more of the fact that I didn't want to have to accept the help from others. I didn't want to have to watch my kids have me to go through all of this again and strive and get there. But now I look back as my journey, it's a journey of resilience and strength. And so back to that, just, it's so important that we really, really accept the things that we cannot change and then just move forward. And at that point, I couldn't change the things that had happened to me. Yes, I was so angry at the person that had hit me. But I had to accept it. And, life will just happen to you if and sometimes we just can't foresee what's going to happen to us in every single day. And unfortunate circumstances happen all of the time to people. And the better that we can prepare them, the better it is for everyone. So back to Dr. Elia's question, what propelled me to start the project that I started? It was being hit by a distracted driver and not being able to control that controllable. And it happens all the time, distracted driving and car accidents happen all the time. And so after I had gotten to a point where I was at least doing okay, I had gone back to neurologists, gone to judges, gone to, EMT workers, police officers, and gathered a lot of statistics. And so I had thought, it would be just great if we had another distracted driving campaign that really helped students understand the severities of what can happen when distracted driving goes on. So that propelled me. And then my uncle
Can you
had
say that just for clarification purposes?
Yeah.
Was this person texting?
I don't know if they were not
paying.
paying attention. Yeah, they were not paying attention. And, I never got an apology or anything on what had happened. And the EMT workers say everyone's brains kind of go into shock after accidents happen, and they just kind of are in a trance, so a lot of the times that doesn't happen. So I was just like, like, what is happening? I don't want this,
One of the things, Naomi, that you talk about initially, you're looking at the ceiling like, I don't want to be here, like this is too painful. And you've mentioned a couple times, I don't want to be a burden to my parents. I don't want my kids to see me this way, and the worry and the burden that I am. And yet you persevered. And
right.
what a lesson to teach your kids about resilience. Like, we don't give up, we do have faith, we do lean in. And as a result, we're transformed as human beings, because there's been a transformation in you too. Like, this lady's smile is always there. Like, she gets like this eternal, beautiful smile. And
thank you.
No. I mean, and it's so warm. You're just so warm and loving and accepting of people and helping others. I mean, you never want to say it's a blessing in disguise, because this accident set you back significantly, and there was, a lot of therapy and rehabilitation and so on, but you have come on the other side, seemingly like you're not dark. You could have been resentful, and you could have, not forgiven. You could have been. There's light in you, and I know it's God's light too. I know it's the Spirit, because I see it in your eyes and your smile. How did you persevere? I mean, I again, it's not like I got rear-ended a little bit, and my back hurts, and we're talking about a major life-altering event.
Yeah. Yeah. So 9 months after my accident, I was diagnosed with something called trigeminal and occipital neuralgia. And
That's a
was
mouthful. I don't know what that is. Explain.
Say that one more time, a little more slowly.
Yes, trigeminal and occipital neuralgia, meaning so there is an artery and a nerve on the right side of my brain, and then there is a artery and a nerve and the back base of my skull that got damaged so bad that they can inflame, and when they're inflamed, they can cause severe pain. And so those are injuries that I live with forever.
Do you still have that? I mean, is that
I
something
do still have that.
you do have
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes. And I am very well, I take supplements daily to help relieve and make sure that I don't go into flares. And so I need to be very, very careful on everything that I do. I look at life as it is so fragile anymore. And it's just our job to be that light for others as much as we can. And, I am a very prayerful person. I have a schedule that I follow most of the day, and I try not to veer away from that. I try to keep peace throughout my life as best as possible. But being a business owner, we know how that can be, right? You can get a little crazy. But my uncle passed away from a distracted driving accident 1 month after my car accident. So it
No
wasn't
way.
just
Wow.
yeah, it wasn't, just all because of me that I started the nonprofit. It was because of him. And then, over time, other team members have come on and offered advice, and let's do this. What do you think about this? And then we saw yeah, go ahead.
What's the mission, or the vision that you have for all these 35 programs for K through 12? What is this
Right.
nonprofit trying to accomplish, and how can we support you?
Yeah. So our nonprofit it's called the Text Pledge Project, and the courses are really to be integrated into the school systems. So we have K through 12, and our college age will be done, I think, next week. So what it is it's a smart pledge program. What we do is we take students all the way from K through 12. We take them through 10 of our nation's biggest epidemics and dilemmas, from distracted driving to discrimination to acts of violence, cyberbullying. But we're also asking students to raise their mental health, become more emotionally intelligent so they can protect each other, watch for the clues, and then also protect the environment and animal rights. So with our education curriculum, we're showing the students how to do all of these things. And we're also showing them that their mental health plays a huge part in everything that's going on in society. So if there are acts of violence happening, there's bullying happening, their mental health really isn't in check. So that is our mission and goal, is to help educate the students from the youngest age. Let's start implementing it when they're young, so that when they're older, they know, hey, these should be not in our society anymore.
Wow,
So
what an amazing thing you're doing, and inspiring these young people all the way up through grade 12 and then beyond. It sounds like you're going to go beyond that, to help them to learn to deal with the various challenges that we face, and do it in a way that can bring about greater kindness and happiness in the world. Naomi, could you share with our audience just 3 pearls of wisdom, 3 nuggets related to kindness that you think might inspire them and give them some direction in their lives?
yes, always be kind. no matter what the circumstance, always be kind. It does really help kind of just neutralize situations, no matter what you're encountering. Rise up, I think, is a really good motto to use, because, we're not always going to love the situations that happen in our life, but just rise up and become better, become, more emotionally intelligent, to know that your situation is not always something that's permanent. And the third one, just continue to make new friendships, because you never know what kind of amazing friendships are on the other side.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn more about you and your powerful story, your experiences that you've had. And we so appreciate you joining us and being willing to share your journey with us. And if our audience wants to connect with you, how can they do that? What's the best way?
Yeah, so you can go to textpledge.us and send us a message. And I normally oversee most of the emails, so you're more than welcome to get in touch with us there. We're on Facebook and all the social media channels too.
Okay, can we find all those links on your website?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great.
You're such an inspiration. That's all I got to tell you. You're such an inspiration. Your positivity, like coming, on the heels of, lifelong, physical ailments and struggles. And the one thing that I associate with you, Naomi, is your faith. Your faith is like front and center of your life. You're unapologetic about it, and it's beautiful to see that. And thank you for
Yeah.
your faith. You're just such an inspiration. Thanks for being on our show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so blessed to have you as a friend.
You're welcome.
Thanks again for joining us. Thanks to our audience for joining us today. Take the time, I invite you to take the time to think about what you've learned, how it applies to you, and what you're going to do to pay it forward because of that. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a wonderful week. Until next time, remember, with kindness,
Everybody wins.
thank you.